We'll be getting ready to begin this. First of all, welcome to Thursday training. I'll be keeping my eye open for people that want to join so that I can get them appropriately entered. Neinzel Rasmussen would be normally the one who's doing the presentation tonight because this is her week or her topic. However, she sends her apologies. She's actually in New York City or in New York. I don't know if she's in New York City proper, but her schedule was such that she needed to, she was unable to attend. So she sends her apologies and she asked me if I would be kind enough to take this on for her, and I agreed to do that. It's her PowerPoint deck, but we'll go ahead and get things started. So I'm going to give everybody just a minute here because we've got people that are getting on, and I'm kind of serving double duty, being both the admin and the presenter tonight. So we'll see how that works. So at any rate, I'll keep an eye here. I think I can do that even if we go through this. So here is the presentation, and I'm going to start this slideshow. Obviously, I've got to get two. Standby one. Blair Painter come in. Okay. So this is, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so that I can see this all as we go through this. Okay, so tonight's training is on digital media power for American Legion posts. Again, this is something that I've got a chat here. Brian Campbell, thank you for putting that in. Digital media power, effective media communication for the 21st century. And this is tied into the 21st century report. If anybody has not had a chance to review that, I'm going to encourage you to take time to do it. If you haven't got a copy or can't find a copy of it, let me know and I will send you one. But this is digital is the way we are going forward in the American Legion. And unfortunately, for some, it is not an option. It's something that is going to be required. So let me get there and then go over here. So here's the agenda. These will be the topics that we're going over today. And I know that Neinzel has done a lot of work in this space. And so I've already gone through this presentation. I think it'll provide a good overview, but I'm going to tie this back to some of the changes we're looking at making in the UT Legion post as well, or utlegion.org, website, so that we can continue to make progress in that area. And so I'm going to be bringing up some of the topics that I'm working on that website in order to highlight some of the opportunities you've got as you're working on digital communications within your posts. So why digital media matters. First of all, reaches veterans where they are today. We are, as you know, spread across the entire state of Utah. And in order to get to veterans and get them all with the same information and be able to communicate, digital is the most effective way to do that. I understand that some veterans do not get on digital media, but we want to get that information to as many members in the post as we can and let it then get communicated that way. It builds visibility for post programs and events and lets people know what is going on, supports the recruitment and retention, strengthens community partnerships. And this is something that I know where we've done some things recently, especially down in Provo, where we've had some communications or some recognition of Korean veterans that was covered by local media. Those kinds of things that connect with those community partnerships is important. It amplifies Be the One, Buddy Checks, and the USA 250 initiatives. If your post isn't visible online, it's invisible to the next generation. And the next generation is really what's key with this thing. And that's part of what was focused on within the 21st century report is the fact that you've got a new generation of veterans that are coming online or that are coming available and can do work with the American Legion and participate in those programs. But in order to get them engaged, we've got to be focusing on those things that are important to them. Now, I'll just share with you something, and this is something I did a few years ago, less than 5 years ago, but I think it was about 4 years ago. I actually was a facilitator for a leadership, online leadership course that was done by Darren Hardy. And one of the things that we talked about early on in that was the fact that in the work community right now, you have got more generations that are participating together in companies than we ever had before. Everything from, there are still some builders around, not so many, but baby boomers up through Gen XYZ, ABC, all of them up to current millennials and so forth, to where there's at least 5 different groups that are involved in the workplace, and they are all motivated by different things. Digital is something that reaches the younger generation, but it's something that can also improve and help the older generations as well. Understanding your audience. This is what we're talking about there. Veterans of all eras. As you know, we've still got some World War II vets, although that number is declining. Korean vets, Vietnam era, then the Gulf War, and so forth and so on. And again, younger veterans are much more attuned to digital communication, and we've got to be able to use that in order to reach them effectively. Active duty and guard reserves, since they're not necessarily going to all be in the same place, it helps reach out to them. Families and caregivers. These are all groups to be thinking about as you're publishing content for your digital audience, and who is going to be in there. Community supporters, and this can be everything from wounded warrior participations. It can be other community events outside the American Legion, and then community supporters that are just within our metropolitan areas, whether it's government or other organizations, and being able to tie into them as well. Youth, Boys State, oratorical, and so forth. Baseball would be another one that we want to be able to communicate with. And you want to ask this question: who are you trying to reach with your media? If you're getting ready to post something on a Facebook page, for example, make sure that you're thinking about who you're trying to reach and what they're going to want to see, and make it meaningful to them. What do they need to hear, and where are they already engaged? Primary channels. Facebook is the most effective for posts. And it's also for our department as well. Let's see if we've got any other questions showing up here yet. Not yet. Okay. Email newsletters, post website. If we've got that, and I know Richard Scott, you're working on that up in Park City now to get some additional communication going digitally up there, and I applaud the effort for that, to get that up and running. Local media, newspapers, radio, and TV. This is something we were able to do both during the National Commander's visit and also in the recognition of the Korean War vets that we did down in Provo and in other areas. But if we can get somebody to cover that, any events that we're doing, that connects to the community and provides them more information about what the American Legion is doing and how we are helping and participating in community events. Secondary channels, Instagram, visual storytelling, YouTube events and testimonials. Again, if you want to put a recording out there, you can set up a YouTube channel. LinkedIn for professional outreach and partnerships. Just out of curiosity, how many people are got LinkedIn accounts on this call tonight? if you do, just put an item in the chat indicating that you do. I'm just curious. I've got a LinkedIn account as well, just so that you're aware of that. So content that works: veteran stories and testimonials, buddy check outreach, community service, promotions, youth programs. This is an important statement. People connect with people, not programs. Anytime you're commuting, and I think Brian Campbell, you've experienced this in some of the work that you've done on Be the One and some of the events that you've had. People connect with people, not the program itself. It's the people that are there are the ones that are effective with that.
They'd like to have it brought to themselves.
Yep, there you
got to
go.
reach out and grab them. Make it personal. Make it personal.
And that is why people connecting with people, making it personal, is something that does that. So one of the things that you want to be able to put together is plan a monthly content. So, for example, you can have a veteran spotlight one week, program awareness another, event promotion, and then community impact. It include holidays, Legion observances, and local events as you're thinking about what you're going to be putting together on a Facebook page or on a post website. Chris is coming on. Thank you. Use consistent and approved logos and colors. Now, I want to talk about this for just a minute. If you take a look at this presentation that you're seeing right now tonight, this is using standard colors that are identified, not just the branding of the logos, but also the color content, the reds, the blues. If you go out to the emblem usage manual and look into that, you'll actually find specifics of fonts to use that the American Legion uses, and also the approved emblems that are out there, and also the specific colors. And so that you can, if you're doing a presentation, whether it's, for example, a city meeting, a county meeting, whatever it happens to be, and you're putting together a presentation, use a template that's aligned. And if you want to take the templates that we're using for these programs and for the trainings and leverage those, you are more than welcome to do that as well. And you can find those online. And if you need a copy of them, let me know and I'll get those to you. But you want to maintain a professional tone and align with department and national messaging. So that's the branding that's important anytime that you're doing digital kinds of presentations. Service are themes for that. The message themes can be service, leadership, community, veteran support, and you'll be telling the Legion story. Your post should answer who we are, what we do, why it matters. Simple formula: problem, action, impact. So if there's a problem that's out there that you're trying to address, and a great example of that is the Be the One mission. The problem was veteran suicide. The action was the Be the One program and our mission now. And then the impact is what it's doing in order to save lives and change lives of the veteran community. So you can have a veteran who was struggling, post-conducted buddy checks, connected to resources and support. That's another message that's local to an individual, rather than the example that I gave earlier of the veteran suicide as the problem. But these are the kinds of things that can come up, and I will tell you, and I think we've seen this before, and there's been a number of Legion meetings that we've been in where
very proud of becoming commander
about making a buddy check call, finding out somebody needed some assistance, needed some help, and then being able to get those resources to that veteran in order to help them through whatever it is that they were struggling with. Photography and visuals. Use real photos, not stock images when possible. This is something when we first redid the utlegion.org website. If you go out there and take a look at that on the first page, you'll see a picture that is of Utah veterans, Utah members of the American Legion. As a matter of fact, I think Randy Edwards is one of the prominent images on that first page. But if you go back to some of the other ones, some of those are stock and they are not Utah images. I've had conversations with Nine-Zell because she has got a lot of pictures that she has taken in her role, both as historian and in the Blue Hatter, of events that we have gone through, and also that she uses when she does posting to the Utah Facebook page, Be the One page, and where possible, if you can use real images on your posts of your members doing things in programs that your post is involved with, that will connect with people much more effectively than just using a stock image of an American Legion veteran someplace. You want to capture events that are going on, members in action, community engagement. And this is something that, matter of fact, I was going over this a little bit with Jeff Steidem when he was trying to get his lighting right for this call. But you want to make sure that you're taking pictures in good lighting. Pay attention to the framing and those things that are in frame. And if you can, make some adjustments to where it's more focused and more informative than just what people would maybe consider a snapshot, and do your best to make it a as professional looking image as you can put together. Make sure the subject is clear and cropped well, and also respect privacy so that you're not getting people in the image that don't want to be there. Engaging in your community. Okay, this is respond to comments and messages. This is on your digital site, Facebook or what have you. Encouraging sharing, tag local partners and organizations, and highlight collaborations. Engagement builds trust and visibility. And this is in your community, and it can tie into what you're putting into your Facebook posts. What gets covered? Again, veteran impact stories, community service, and youth programs. Tools for success. I don't know how many people are using some of these. Canva is one. Got somebody in here. Canva is one. Canva is actually what Nine-Zell used when she puts together our Blue Hatter newsletter. This is the tool that she uses for graphics and putting all of that together. Facebook Meta Business Suite, scheduling posts. And scheduling posts is an important topic here because and this is one of the problems that I'm working on solutions for with the ut.legion.org or utlegion.org website. And that is that we put some news items out there when we rebuilt that page 2.5 years ago, but some of those stories are still there. And I need to get automatic feeds coming in from various places in order to keep that interesting, because one of the things that's important, and this is why we're going back a few slides when we were talking about the schedule for posting to your Facebook page. If you build a Facebook page, put some good information out there, and it never gets updated, people will go there once, they'll see it, they'll like it, they'll be interested in what's there. They'll go back and they'll see that nothing's changed. They'll go back a third time, and then they'll figure out what's the point. Nothing's changing on that. I'm going to take that off my list of things to check on. Anytime you're dealing with social media, there has to be a constant cycling and updating for fresh information. And that's got to be done frequently or it will lose its impact. MailChimp for email for newsletters. This is one that we're working on in the department right now. We have actually got the MailChimp has been authorized by the DEC and the Finance Committee. And so I'm working to get that set up right now. And with any kind of luck, it's been a little bit of a struggle just because the data that I'm trying to load in there for the emails and the members' names has been a little bit challenging just because it's been inconsistent and getting accurate information is sometimes a challenge. So I'm working through that now, and I've just about got at least my first load of at least all of those that I've got good emails for in the department out there, so that I can do a mass mailing of my goal is to be able to do that for the next Blue Hatter. What gets measured gets improved. You've got to inspect what you expect. You've heard that maybe sometimes, but you need to take a look at loves, shares, comments, attendance, membership inquiries, website visits, and be able to count those. You can get that information on a website using some of the tools that are available for that, the CEO tools. But it's important to know how your tool is being used and how effective it is. And if you keep focusing on what's getting attended to, and you keep focusing your content to those things, you'll see the use of that tool grow. Also track inconsistent posting, poor quality images, no call to action, posting only internal content, ignoring comments and messages, posting inappropriate content. And hopefully we're not doing any of that, but you want to be careful with that and make sure that you are looking for, again, those things that are appropriate to the message and mission of the Department of Utah and the message and mission of the American Legion National, and making sure that we are doing things that are in line with the guidance that they provide on content. And so you can start this month, appoint a post media liaison. I'm sure you all have somebody biting at the bit to want to do that, but find out what if there is somebody that would be interested in putting that together. Create a content calendar, post at least 2 times per week. That's a great start, and because that way, if people are coming back 2 or 3 times a week, they're going to be seeing new information there, and that will keep them coming back. Share one veteran story. And I'm sure your posts have got somebody that would be a good story to highlight, and promote one upcoming event, whatever, if it's related to 250 or something else that you're doing, any of the Be the One programs we've got coming up. But you want to be able to put together something like that. Digital communication supports our Be the One mission: suicide prevention and awareness, connecting with veterans, and community impact. This is not marketing, it's mission delivery. And that's important because the content that you put out there should not really be focused on selling, but on engaging. And I'll use that distinction to suggest is the way that you want to go forward. Now, one of the things that I'm doing, and this is where I want to tie into some of the work that I'm doing with the utlegion.org website. I've already had conversations with Steve Sabisky, who is the person that is maintaining that for us at Sandman Studios. And when he did the revision that we asked him to do before, it took us great leaps forward in content and usability of that site. But it needs more work. I have already provided to him a wireframe, and that's a way of describing what goes onto a website, of things that we want to do differently with that website. And rather than, if you look at the website today and you just go across the top, there's a lot of tabs. It's a little busy. It's kind of hard to find things. We've already made some changes short term to try to make things a little bit more locatable, For example, if you go into news and events, you're going to find the Blue Hatters much closer to the top of the page now than it was before because you had to search all the way to the bottom for it. But we want to change it to really be focused on the four pillars and on the American Legion family to be able to tie into everything from auxiliary to SAL to TAL and the writers and be able to get all of that information together and be able to either put content on our website in order to support those or be able to link to external websites that are specific to each of those American Legion programs or American Legion entities or other information that is important to be able to share. So, discussion. Think outside the box. And let me just look here. I think let's have a conversation now about ways we can get better in our posts as it relates to digital communication through media. And then we'll do questions. So I'm gonna actually stop sharing the screen so I can see people and what they're doing. But what do you think about that? What are some of the things that you can think about doing at a post level that may help you engage more with community and with your members?
Well, I was thinking more at your level, Rick, that there should be some links that we could share so that your pages would appear to be like our pages. And when you change your page, it changes our page on our website.
And that's a great suggestion because that is something that we're looking at doing or that I'm looking at doing. And specifically, what I want to do is I want to be able to link to some other pages, primarily at National, for some of their stories that they've got, so that we're able to put content. Even if it's something like the impact report at the national level, and be able to do that and have that also appear on the utlegion.org website, and people will be able to see that and be able to get that information as it becomes available. And I think we can do some of the same things with Oratorical. I know that there's information, for example, on legion.org as well as utlegion.org, but it would be better if we had a consistent message that was available to in one place so that we weren't trying to either do double the work in order to get information there, but we want to be able to put other information out and for the posts as well. Now, some things from the department can be shared certainly at the post level, but not necessarily everything that is on a post website, whether it's a Facebook Meta location, is going to be shared going the other direction. So I think we can probably do it both ways, Richard, is to have some things that are can be sent down to posts that will update automatically, and other things that the posts can post individually that would be appropriate. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, but we'll have to make sure that our templates and frames match so it doesn't look like we're, sucking a page off somebody else's website, which we are, but
Yeah, no, and that's true. And it's in banking where I worked for many decades, when it comes to websites, there are certain requirements, and this is around financial, but you actually it's called a bump page, where if you get ready to go someplace else or view something that's external to your site, you notify the person you're leaving the utlegion.org website and going over to this other site and make sure that they understand that, and then they can hit enter and go over to that, and then when they come back, it will navigate back and they can see that they're back in that where they originally started. So a bump page is not always required. I know that for financial institutions, it is legally required for certain transitions, but that's something that we can look at possibly using in our environments as well. Anything else that anybody's thinking about for post work?
Quite honestly, maybe you're far above my knowledge on a website, but to build a website and to update it is pretty laborious. And to have it be changed from an outside source, I don't know that that's really possible. I think it's a matter of keeping an eye on Facebook and your notifications and seeing the different notifications. For example, if National does they typically do a daily updated article or
Right.
video, then I can easily go on there and share it, and that'll go on my Facebook page, and I can share it onto the American Legion Writers 112 page.
Hmm.
That's realistic, and we can do that. But on a website basis, I know you don't have enough time in your day, Mr. Mead, to update
No, and that's why I've got to
your
find ways to do
information.
that automatically.
Got to
And
hear.
so,
Will a face with will a can you do that on a website? I know you can do it on a Facebook.
yeah, you
You
can.
just got to keep an eye on it.
There's definitely ways you can do that. You can put links and you can have updates in one place actually generate. There's widgets that you can put on a front page or one of your pages that will automatically pull information from an external source anytime that gets updated. And that becomes the way you can keep things fresh on your page is by sharing that information. But you want to be careful that you're not doing that exclusively. You want original content as well as shared content from another location, and you want to be able to do both of those.
Here.
Oh, go ahead, Scotty.
Hey, we just recently got back to have our web page, and the problem we've had with our web page problem is when they change the people who are responsible for it. And just recently, we've gotten our person that volunteers to it to get back to it, and we've had problems with issues with old contact information. And then I had the same problem with my Facebook page, and I ended up creating another page, as you guys know. And now
Yeah.
we've got 2 Facebook pages, but it actually helped out because people, when they do a search, they search differently. And when in my area, Cedar City, they go Cedar City's American Legion, and then they get one page. Or if they go American Legion Cedar City, they get another page. And so I get a lot of that spreading of that thing. So and every day I update my content, my feed on the page, so I can with a new different things. So that way I keep people engaged, and it has been growing that kind of information. And I've noticed also with our fundraising, people have come up to me at the farmers market when we have them on Saturdays. I'm out there every Saturday going, hey, come on, see us. They come up and they say, I saw your thing on the Facebook group page. And that's another thing. You got to take your flyers and your stuff and your advancements when you're going to do notifications of events. You got to go to your local group pages and reach out to all of them and update them with your flyers and your updates and reach out to that and spread the word as much as you can. It's a little laborious, but the benefits that we're getting out of this program that I'm doing with spreading that word with this engagement is working very well. So yeah, Rick's the man. He's got it. He's been leading me the way. Thanks.
Okay, great comments. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Any other thoughts on websites? And I'll also tell you this, and this will go back a little bit to what Brian was talking about. There are some tools that make it easy to create a website. My Post 139 has a website, and if you go out there, it gets maintained, it gets updated fairly regularly. And if you've got any questions about how to put that together, please contact Rich Fisher because he's our post adjutant and he can give you some information on what he has done in order to keep that website up and running and how it got initially set up.
Rick,
So
I have some input on websites and newsletters.
okay.
We have a website and we definitely keep it updated. And that's where we post event photos and things like that. And it covers the SAL and the auxiliary for our post.
Mm-hmm.
We also link the veterans.utah.gov, their newsletter on that
Okay.
on a monthly basis or whenever it comes out anyway. On the newsletters, we have a 9-page newsletter that we put out monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm the one that sends it out, although I'm not the one that puts it together. We email about 200 emails,
Okay.
and we send it to our post, our Legionnaires, our SAL, and our auxiliary, because all of them are mentioned in it. We also send it to our scouts because we have 3 troops. And we also include 3 cities that we cover, and that includes the mayors and the city managers.
Mhm.
And in one of the cities, they've asked that all the city council people get it. We also send it to our county commissioners because they're always interested in what's happening.
Mhm.
Our state commander's on the distribution. Neinzel is on there because you never know what she's going to pick up that could also be put in the Blue Hatter.
Right.
We also help with our local technical college. They have a veterans center there, and I make sure he's on the distribution list because of the veterans that are there, at the college.
Mhm.
So there's so many opportunities out in the community to keep people updated on what's happening, the resources that are out there for veterans. I bring down a lot of stuff off of the Veterans Advisory County at the state level, or Veterans Advisory Council at the state level.
Mhm.
And there's just so much opportunity to spread the word to our veterans and families in the local communities that, I think that's why we have such a good reenlistment,
Mhm.
membership.
Yeah.
They keep staying with us. So that's my input.
Paula,
You,
those are really great comments, and I appreciate you sharing that, because one of the things that you mentioned, if you just think about what you just went through, you've got metropolitan communities and so forth. You have got uh, county members, councilmen, and so forth, and keeping them engaged is very helpful. And the same thing with looking around and finding you've identified external sources of sharing information into veterans, and also keeping many groups that you're tied into aware of what you're doing, whether it's scouting organizations, whether it's community leaders, whether it is local news sources and so forth. All of those things are all important. So thank you for bringing that up. That was a great list of items for people to be considering. Thank you for that.
Oh, and that's another person that is on the Friends of Post 27 distribution is our local newspaper.
Yeah. Mhm.
She always wants to know what's going on with ours, so I always make sure that she's on that list too. Another thing I forgot, on that, when you go to legion.org and the find a post,
Mhm.
and I think it's important that all the posts that have websites in Utah, what's that form that you're asking for now where
Post
you
data
have
form.
the where
Post
you
data
have
form.
the post, yeah, that one. That's how I think the websites get put on the national website.
Yep, that's
Okay,
correct.
so that's really important because when one of our members is moving, I like to send them information saying, all right, there's 3 posts in your area, but one doesn't give any information, and
Yeah.
2 gives a website. They give, that they're SAL and all that. And I think that comes from that post data form.
It
So I
does.
think that's important for when somebody is moving into the area, that if they see that you're an active post, that's a good avenue for your post to get members.
I agree. And that's a great point, Paula. Thank you for that as well.
Can I ask two questions? Back up, please. I'm sorry, we're on a time schedule. Number one is, Rick, will you make a note to share with me those widgets for the automatic updates on the websites? And
Yes.
number two, Paula, are you referring to making these posts and informational newsletters, so to speak? Are they on your Facebook or are they on your website?
They're on our website if you request it. We had to take them off for some strange reason. We kept getting sued for something, which was stupid. And I think it had to do with the photos. So we're real careful now with the photos that we put in there. You know, if they come from our cameras, that's fine. And during the review before we publish them, we make sure that anything that's on there is from us. We've designed it, we've, you know, created it on our cameras, and we only if there's a request for a back issue, then I think I'm not the media person who handles the website, so I'm not specific, but I think that's the most recent change in the last 6 months.
Didn't somebody hack your post and start putting pictures of midget wrestling on there, Paula?
Not that I'm aware of.
It's lighten up, girl.
Oh, geez.
Smile for hell's sakes. It's me talking. It's me talking, okay?
I
Brian,
was going to say it's
you're
not
on my
April
doo-doo
1st.
list.
It's not April 1st. It's
Those were
April
actual
2nd.
those were actual Legionnaires.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Holy cow.
Just remember,
Okay.
I got you at Boys State.
Yeah, yeah.
They
And I got a boy stater because of you. Anyway,
they were from the midget submarines.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
it's a
this is
division of the Merchant
this is good
Marines.
conversation. So let's keep
Well,
it
well,
rolling. Any other thoughts, Richard?
We need to share somehow. We all need to get everybody else's emails and post and websites so that we can advertise those on ours. So that if somebody comes to our, say, Facebook post, maybe that they can, you can, you can, what do you call it? Tag stuff up there at the top so it doesn't move, and you could have everybody's list of contacts for all the other posts. Or
I am actually working on that very thing, and that's part of my wireframe that I've got off to Sandman Studios for the next iteration for utlegion.org is to be able to get that contact for each post. And I want to take it off of the post roster that I can print off of Personify Go, which is the database where that's maintained for nationals information.
Hey, I will interject this too. As far as websites, people love videos. They love reading rather than instead of reading, they love the videos. And if you find a good YouTube video, 39 seconds to a minute and 10 seconds, put it on your website, share it on your Facebook, and people love watching that kind of stuff. So videos, YouTube videos are really good.
And you're not talking about midget wrestling again, are you?
No, that's between Paula and I.
so if you have an Instagram account and a Facebook account, you can link them together. So if you post any reels, they automatically go on your Instagram account.
Yep, that is a true statement. And that's one of the widgets that you can tie together, and you can do the same thing. So that if Paul or if Nine Zell, for example, were to put something onto the Facebook page for the Department of Utah, I can get a widget that will actually go to an Instagram account. It'll go to a website, and it'll get posted on there, and that content will propagate to all those locations, and it'll just do it automatically.
Well, you need to share your widgets, Mr. Mead.
I'm keeping them secret. My widgets
Oh my
they only
gosh.
come out after dark.
All right. Well, that's when I'm the most active.
Okay. And I appreciate those comments, Richard. You are spot on with that.
So
Um,
yeah, this is a
in-
conversation about midgets and widgets.
Yes, it is. Thanks to Paula.
any other thoughts on what we can be looking at to help posts become more effective and suggestions on how they can become more engaged in digital media in general? Okay.
Our commander doesn't even have text messages, so
Yes, you can. And that's one of the other things with Mailchimp that I'm actually, when I got it, I've got the add-on to Mailchimp that lets me do SMS texting as well, so that I can send information, or if I've got a correctly sized piece of information that I want to get out, I can send it to people's phones as well as to the website and to Facebook pages.
Oh, well, I'm done, but I was just, I have my scan tool here. And if I was to help, I want to make sure that I can grab it and then go. So I didn't want to go without grabbing it if we can use it. Yeah, I did hear about Greg's unfortunate blackout. Yeah, so
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for that, David. Any other comments on post activity and engagement that we'd like to share?
Oh, at least Craig, drove into a place where he could just kind of stop.
Yeah. Okay.
so these posts that these posters that came in the chat, do we have the full size one of those that are available to us so we can post them on our Facebook?
Absolutely. Reach out to me.
Who's me? Oh, Brian Campbell.
Brian Campbell here. I'll put my email in. Maybe.
Brian, this is Scotty. Go ahead and just send
Hey,
that stuff
Scotty.
to me no matter what. You know that.
Yes. Chat GTP has just become my best friend.
I was okay. And then if I was okay, she would have.
That's funny.
Oh, geez, I'm just okay. Kevin just screwed me up. Sorry, just a second, guys.
Oh. So he wasn't in any shape to be smacked.
I was going to say that post 74 contacts at your service. That's
Hold
pretty
it.
impressive.
Hold it. Richard's midget lover at gmail.com.
Oh, I was posting that for you.
Oh, shit. Thanks. That'll work too. That's Paula's, not mine. No. Paula's going to punch me in the arm really hard next time I see her, but that's okay.
Well, I won't stop her. So
Yeah. Yeah. Brian Campbell, just Brian at brianmcampbell.com, or you can text me. Here, I'm going to put my phone number in too, guys. You can call or text me anytime. I'm pretty active on Facebook. I'm really promoting a event we're having for the anniversary of D-Day on June 6th.
Mhm.
And
Well-
that's going to be a statewide event. We want to have everybody involved.
Well, on July 4th, we've raised over 200 and some $1,000 for the Veterans Memorial here in Mount Pleasant.
Wow.
That's
And so-
fantastic.
Governor Cox is going to be there, and so is our congressman, if I can think of his name, Owens. Yes,
Okay, Congressman. Okay.
Yeah, are going to be there along with both mayor from Fairview and Mount Pleasant and Bull's going to be there. He's the head of the committee. So
That's great.
Good for
That's
you
great.
guys. That's
going to
fabulous.
be our what do you call it? America 250 event for
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Richard.
That's huge for the big metropolis of Mount Pleasant. My gosh. We need to step up our game, guys, if they're doing that kind of stuff in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, no, I
Well,
agree.
that was started by Gary Arnoldson before he died. He went to the city council and said, "Our post wants to do this," and the city council said, "We were just thinking about that, so we'll partner with you." And then
Fabulous.
it just went through there. We got there's a committee called Route 89 something, and they donated a bunch of money if you put anything on Route 89. And
Oh, okay.
and then we got five bronze statues, and you can buy those or sponsor those, I guess, and they'll actually put your face on the statue. Um, so one of the statues has been bought, and then we have a nurse. Hers there. There's a nurse from Mount Pleasant who's very famous from World War II,
Yeah.
and then she was their family bought
Friday or Sunday.
sponsored a statue so they could put her face on it.
Home, and then we can just go out there together, and we'll just take it. I'll just come and get you or Scott or Craig, and we can just go out there.
David, I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying. Can you get a little bit closer to your either your phone or your computer?
I'm available tonight. It'll be dark, but
W what now?
I think David's on phone with somebody. Scotty here.
Oh, okay.
So he's in background. So
Okay.
I got a comment on the thing you mentioned on the Facebook thing. Yeah, you want to make sure that you pin, if you go to our Facebook page, that you saw any one of the two, you'll notice when you first, if you check out the profile thing, or you check and you scroll down, when you start scrolling down the posts that we've made on our page, you'll notice that the first two things I've got pinned at the top is going to be the contact informations and website of the contacts, and also a schedule. And I update that schedule constantly as we have, and so it's pinned, so people can go when they first start scrolling down our page. That's the first couple of things that they can open up and take a look at those posts because they're pinned at the top, and then that gives them your schedule. And then I constantly update that schedule to get current, and then that's a good way to keep them up to it. And another on the comment is get out there in the community. I go to city council every week. I'm there. I go to the VFW. I did that today, but just before I got on this, and with your local organizations, and get connected with them and get them connected on your Facebook pages and stuff, and like and follow those other veterans groups and the national groups. And I think that's the best way to get the media connections out there. And I got to get a LinkedIn account. I didn't realize how many people have LinkedIn accounts, and that's my comments.
Okay. Very, very good. Other comments? This has been a great discussion. There's been a lot of good information shared, and it will be valuable for anybody that's on this call and anybody that gets the opportunity to listen to the recording after the fact. So that'll be great. This is a good session. Thank you. Anything else anybody would like to bring up?
Yes.
Oh.
When you put out the link for this Zoom training, could you put the subject? Because that may bring in more people who may be of interest.
That's a great comment, subject. Paul, and I will absolutely do that.
Because I always have to go to the news, the Blue Hatter, to find out what the subject is for that.
Yeah, I do that intentionally to make more people go to the Blue Hatter.
Yeah, right.
I wish that were true, but
if people know exactly where to go look for it.
Yeah. I will absolutely do that, Paul. I think that's a great comment, and I will put the subject for each of the trainings that we do. Okay. Anything else? I don't want to keep people longer than we've got conversation, but this has been a good session. We're going to be finishing, it looks like, about 6 minutes early.
Happy
So,
Easter.
huh?
Happy Easter.
Yeah, there you go. Happy Easter coming up this weekend.
Happy
So,
Easter.
Happy Easter,
everybody,
guys.
everybody keep working on your membership. And I want to point this out. When I sent the national membership out from March 31st, we're in a race with Wyoming right now. I don't know if anybody's been watching that carefully, but they're sneaking up on us. And as of the very end of March, they were only 0.05% behind us. And so we want to keep our membership going so that we can stay ahead of them. And there's a little bit of behind the scenes competition going on there as well.
How do we update? Like, I've contacted everybody in our post that we have contact information for, but I have four people left that we don't know where they're at. We don't know if they're alive. We don't know what happened to them. And I really need to get them off the rolls so we can get our percentages up.
Okay. Well, those percentages won't really be affected by that change, but it's an important thing to do, and that's something that I know that I've talked with some other adjutants and posts, and one of the things that I suggest that they do is if they can go through that roster and try to contact as you've been doing, and then for those that they can't find, start doing a search for obituaries and see if there's something that shows up that they've passed away or something else that is keeping them from participating, or send them if you've got a physical address, you can send them a letter, but oftentimes those addresses aren't correct either because they've moved and they haven't updated and changed them.
Well, I don't really want to show up if they're dead.
Okay.
But I need to just update some of the things on the roster, like our first commander says he's still in Everett, Washington, but I don't know how to update that.
I can do that for you. If you give me that information on a member data form, I can change that. The only thing I cannot change is a person's name, but I can change their address, contact information, and so forth, and I can do that for you.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Going once, going twice.
Don't stop. I'm gonna put my number in the
Soul American.
in the chat.
Well, I'll make a comment. Thank you very much, Rick. You really are an inspiration to us adjutants. It was a pleasure meeting you. You educate me and inspire me. I appreciate working with you. And Brian, I look forward to seeing you here coming up for our event down here. And if anybody ever needs anything, my contact numbers are there. We're down here trying to improve it. I'm only 3 people away to getting my 100% goal. So I'm working on it, trying to get those people out there. So we're working on it hard. Everybody, thanks for everything you do for all the veterans in your communities and our cooperation. Remember, we are family. I'm working on getting our squadron, our SAL squadron going. So we're driving it. And I think we have a lot of good people that we can keep on moving and doing things. So thank you very much, Rick, and everybody who attended. And I appreciate this kind of a situation and the comments that have been taking place. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very
Scotty?
much. And I appreciate everybody's comments on this. Added a lot of good information to this and made this, I think, a very valuable training session. So thank you very much.
Scotty, quit sucking up to Rick. That's my job.
Hey, you guys, I'm putting a profile picture of my Facebook. I do the majority of everything I do. The majority is Legion based. If any of you are friends of mine, feel free to go on there and do a friend request. There's a lot of Brian Campbell's, but that's me in Salt Lake City with my Princess Terry. You can see the image on the
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can't believe
there.
she still puts up with you. So
I know. Well, every Thursday at 9 a.m. we have a counseling class, and I think next week is the last midget-based concern session we're having. So, other than that, yes, I eat, breathe, and sleep the Legion, and anybody that knows me knows that's a fact.
Me
it
too.
is.
So grateful to be a part of this organization.
We're cut of the same cloth there, brother.
Amen. Yeah, it's a privilege and it's an honor to be. I am not a veteran. I'm a son of the American Legion and I'm an American Legion writer. And it's an honor and a privilege to represent and serve my country through the American Legion. And I thank you all for what you've done.
And I think,
Okay.
Brian, you could probably do a class on that Chat GP poster thing that you did.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's amazingly, you got to get bossy with it. You really do, and tell them, no, that's not what I want. I wanted this, and it'll go back and it'll correct it. It's pretty remarkable.
Does it
Um,
apologize?
All righty. Well, we've just run up to the 7 o'clock hour, so or the 1900 hours mark. So thank you to everyone
Thank
for being
you.
on this call. And I'm going to go ahead and shut the recording down at this point. And yes, I'm sure I want to close that. But thank you all for being here. And again, if you've got any questions, I will be getting some information out on those widgets that Brian, you were talking about, and I will get some information to you on that. And then we can we'll meet again in a month and have another training session.
That's
So
great.
thank you all very
And then,
much.
and Rick, let's make sure we make a share list of whoever was involved with this so
Yeah.
that we can share each other's information if you'll send an email.
Yep.
Awesome.
I can do that.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night and have a great Easter, as Paula said.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Good evening.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.